بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له أشهد أن نبينا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا my brothers in Islam. We're going to start inshallah with the 39th lesson of Arabiyyah to Bayna Yadayk, book 1 part 1 of the new version. And in the last lesson we have gone through the numbers, the Arabic numbers, and I've mentioned the history of the Arabic numbers, alhamdulillah. And I stopped with a topic what can be seen as a kind of difficult topic in the beginning, but later on easy to absorb, inshallah. I've mentioned that the numbers in the Arabic language, they are of two types. We have masculine numbers and we have feminine numbers. And when you learn the Arabic language, you normally learn the numbers like this: واحد اثنان ثلاثة أربعة خمسة. So I went a little bit into detail. So I've mentioned that number 1 and 2 both are masculine numbers. Okay, so واحد is the masculine form of واحدة, but it's a feminine one. And ithnani is the masculine form of ithnatani. Okay, so ithnani is masculine and ithnatani is feminine. Now the shocking thing for some of the brothers is that number 3, 4, 5, they are feminine. So 1 and 2 are masculine and 3, 4, 5 are feminine. To explain that more, I try to do my best, inshallah, is that when you mentioning number 1 and 2 in the Arabic language, number 1 and 2 are masculine, and it has to be similar to that what you are going to count, okay, or the counted, what's called the ma'dudun. They have to be one gender, okay. So I give you an example here. Kitabun wahidun. Okay, what is one book? Okay, Kitabun wahidun. So I know that English, they will put the number before that what you're going to count, but that's also in the Arabic language, but from 3 onwards, from number 3 onwards. So kitabun is masculine and the number 1 is masculine. Kitabani, we're going to the second example. Kitabani are 2 books, okay, because the alif and a noon with a kasra, if added to the single form, what is kitabun, it will give you the dual form. So I've put between 2 brackets, bayna qawsayni, I've put the number ithnani just to show it's not compulsory to mention, okay? It's not compulsory to mention, but if you want to emphasize the 2 books, you can put the number after it. So kitabani is masculine, and that's why ithnani is also masculine, okay? So the gender, just to make it easy, the rule, the gender, when using number 1 and 2, the gender has to be the same between the number and that which you're counting, whether it's books or tables or anything. If you go to the feminine form as well, so one female student is طالبة واحدة. طالبة is feminine, so واحدة has to be feminine as well. You see, واحدة is the feminine form of واحد, the one we have in the book. 2 female students is طالبتان, and that should be enough. or that's enough. But you can add the number just to emphasize, like mentioned before. So you say طالبتان اثنتان. Okay. The Hamza al-Wasl, the weak Hamza, has a kasra here, but you don't write the kasra if the Hamza, you don't put any harakat on the Hamza al-Wasl if it's in the middle or the end of the sentence. If it's in the middle of the end of the sentence. Anyway, how about 3 and onwards? ثلاثة كتب, 3 books. أربعة كتب, 4 books. خمسة كتب, 5 books. Okay. So just absorb this. Number 1 and 2 has to be similar in gender between the number and that what you account. 3 onwards all the way to 10 has to be opposite. Okay, it has to be opposite. So like I said, the Arabic and English is the same when it comes to the order of the numbers, and that's what you count from 3 onwards. So I say 3 books. You see, I start with the number 3. ثلاثة كتب, 3 books. And kutubin is a masculine word. It means books. And how can we know that the word is masculine? It's always by going back to the single form. Okay, what is kitabun? And kitabun has no ta, so it's a masculine word. So are we going to use a feminine or a masculine number? We're going to use a feminine number because the book is a masculine word. Okay, so that's why it's ثلاثة كتب, and this setup is a mudafun ilayhi setup, and that's why ثلاثة was only 1 dhamma and kutubin has 2 kasras. This is something you will learn later on, inshallah. So between number 3 and 10 you always have the same setup, mudaf and mudaf ilayhi setup. So likewise, when we go to the female students, طالبات, طالبات, its singular is طالبة, and it's what? It's a feminine word, because you always go back to the single form to decide which gender it is. So which number are we using here for 3 female students? We use the masculine number, because from 3 and 10 to up to 10 is always opposites. So you say ثلاث طالبات, أربع طالبات. Okay, so masculine number with the feminine counted for, and the opposite. So this is something you always, inshallah, have to bear in mind when using the Arabic numbers. So number and 2 has to be the same genders. Not only 1 and 2, also 11 and 12, 21, 22, 31, 32, 41, 42, all the way, 91, 92. Always has to be the similar gender form. Okay. As for 3 to 10 and 13, 13 to 19 and 23 to 29 and 33 to 39, this always opposites. As for these numbers, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, all these numbers, they have no gender. 20, 30, 40, they're genderless. Anyway, these are all rules you will learn later on. You just keep one thing in mind here. Why, for example, here we have واحد, اثنان, ثلاثة, أربعة, خمسة. When teaching the numbers, it has to be always like this. The first 2 are masculine and the rest all the way, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way. Also 10 will be feminine, because number 10 has 2 genders, unlike 20 to 90. Anyway, it's maybe a bit too much, and I know that, but if you understand 20% of what I have said, then it's good. So if we talk about a pen, قلم, قلم is a masculine gender. Okay, so you say قلم واحد, one pen. قلمان اثنان, two pens. Okay, now we use the opposites. ثلاثة أقلام, أربعة أقلام, خمسة أقلام. Okay, ستة أقلام, سبعة أقلام, ثمانية أقلام, تسعة أقلام, عشرة أقلام. So it makes sense because if you have a masculine counted for, like a pen or a book, then it should be like this. واحد is masculine, اثنان is masculine, and you're still talking about the same book or pen, so it should always be feminine numbers 3 onwards. So the first two are masculine. So I think you understand why the first two are masculine and the rest is feminine. Okay. If we talk about, if we do the opposite, we have, for example, a bag, حقيبة. It's a feminine word. حقيبة واحدة. حقيبتان اثنتان. ثلاث. From now we're going to switch to masculine because that way you count is feminine. ثلاث حقائب. It's حقائب, but it has a grammatical exception rule. أربع حقائب. خمس حقائب. This is something, inshallah, don't worry about this. Inshallah, you will learn it later on, inshallah. I have here a تنبيه. تنبيه آخر. Another remark. لا نستخدم في تعلمنا للغة العربية إلا الأرقام العربية في تدريبات هذا الكتاب. لا نستخدم, we don't use, في تعلمنا, in our learning, للغة العربية, of the Arabic language, إلا except الأرقام العربية, the Arabic numbers, في تدريبات, in the exercises of this book. So always write the numbers down in Arabic. It's you can almost say it sounds hard, but it's almost a shame if the teacher finds you, for example, in the second tadrib, the second exercise, if he finds you writing the numbers in the boxes in the numbers that are used in the West nowadays. You might argue the teacher and tell him, Akhi, the Arabic, the numbers I'm using, the Western numbers, the European numbers, the American numbers, they're originally Arabic numbers. Okay, they've been taken from Northwest Africa. Okay, and taken into Europe. That is true. That is true. I don't argue that. But because the Muslims are, the Arabs are using nowadays the Indian numbers, the old Indian numbers, and that's why we should use these numbers. Okay, these are now the Arabic numbers. These are now the Arabic numbers. And that are the numbers that you find in the Islamic books. Okay, bear that in mind. These numbers are those that are being found in the Islamic books nowadays. Now, so sale, match or join بين between العدد, the number or amount, والصورة المناسبة, and the suitable picture. So you start now the suitable or appropriate picture. So you start now, my brothers in Islam, with this التدريب الأول. You join, you match, صل بالمسطرة, if you still know what it is, بالمسطرة, with the sin, ta, stick, with the ruler. You join it with the ruler. Okay. والقلم, and the pen. طبعا, of course. بعد ذلك التدريب الثاني رتب الأعداد. رتب الأعداد. Now this is a beneficial تدريب. هذا تدريب مفيد. رتب الأعداد معناه معنى الجملة أو معنى العبارة, the meaning of the sentence or the phrase, رتب الأعداد is order the numbers, order the amounts. So we're going to order the numbers inshallah here. رتب is a command verb, رتب is order, and it comes from the verb من الفعل, from the verb رتب خالد الحروف. So you have, for example, الحروف الهجائية, what is the alphabet, letters. If they're not ordered, so not alif, alifun, ba, ta, tha, if they're not ordered, you say, for example, Khalid ordered the letters. So رتب خالد الحروف. Khalid ordered the letters. He has put the letters in order. So رتب is the he form past tense. رتب خالد الأرقام. Khalid ordered the numbers. He put them in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So رتب فعل ماض is a past tense verb and the root is always he form. You will not see in the dictionary Arabic رتبت, I ordered. رتبت, you ordered. Okay, رتبت, she ordered. رتبنا, we ordered. No, they give you the he form past tense and you can add the pronoun later on, because the he form past tense is the shortest form and is the root. We have another meaning of رتب. رتب خالد الغرفة. Khalid, he tidy up the room. Okay, so to tie up something and make it properly is also another meaning of رتب. Okay, and a third meaning of رتب, رتب خالد اللقاء, is Khalid, رتب خالد اللقاء مع المدير. Khalid arranged, اللقاء is the meeting, so رتب means he arranged. رتب خالد اللقاء مع المدير. So Khalid arranged the meeting with the mudir. And mudirun can be a head teacher when you talk about school of university, a principal, but it can also be a manager of a company. Okay, mudirun, the head of a company, the manager. So Khalidun, رتب خالد اللقاء مع المدير. And I just reminded myself, in the Arabic language you can start with the verb, you can start with the noun. It actually means totally the same. So Khalidun رتب or رتب Khalidun. Okay, this is something else I wanted to share with you. So here are the verbs, the other verbs, the two other verbs. فعل مضارع يرتب, present tense, with the dam on the ya, and the فعل أمر, the command verb رتب, what means order or arrange. Or tied up. It doesn't mean clean. Clean is something else. نظف, نظف ينظف, نظف. With the dha, with the stick and the dot. That's different. So رتب يرتب, رتب ترتيبا. So ترتيب, this is the masdar. The main noun, it means ordering or arranging or tidying up. فهو مرتب. So he's the one who orders, for example, the letters or the numbers, the مرتب. Or مرتب اللقاء, the arranger of the meeting, مرتب اللقاء. والمفعول, the اسم مفعول is مرتب, مرتب. For example, البيت مرتب, the house is tidy up. Maybe it sounds a bit strange the way I say it in English, but I hope the message reached you, inshallah. الغرفة is a feminine word, so you say مرتبة. البيت is a masculine word, so مرتب. The room, الغرفة مرتبة, is tidy up. اللقاء مرتب. Here it has an extra meaning. The meeting is well arranged, it's organized. The word murattabun does mean that as well. نعم. رتب الأعداد. الأفضل أن يقال it's better to say الأرقام, the numbers. It's single form is رقم, as you can see. As you can see, انظر, look to صفحة, the SAD stands for صفحة, page 116. If you go to 116, they use the word رقم as well. On the top of the تدريب, اكتب رقم واحد, write number 1, على الطعام, on the food, ورقم 2, and number 2, على الشراب, on the drink. Anyway, نعم, التدريب الأول, first exercise 116. Anyway, after that, I want you to start with it. رتب الأعداد. Perform the second exercise. Order the numbers. They already gave you number 1, so you complete 2, 3, 4, and 5. After that, أيها الإخوة, التدريب الثالث. We're going to the third exercise, inshallah. أشر. أشر إلى point 2. أشر, you can read after me. أشر إلى العدد الذي تسمعه. What means? Point to the number. الذي is the masculine form of that, and التي is the feminine of that, or which. So point to the number which or that you hear. تسمعه means literally that you hear it. والضمير يعود إلى العدد. The ضمير, the pronoun, what is the who? After the تسمع, تسمع, you hear. The who goes back to العدد, that you hear it. Literally means, it means literally it, that you hear it. Anyway, I'm going to say a few numbers and you're going to point to them, inshallah. So أربعة, خمسة, now without looking to the top of the page, because then it becomes easy. So I start again. I'm starting from the beginning. You don't look anywhere. You just put a notebook on the rest of the page or a blank paper, so you only focus upon the tadrib. So I say, for example, ثلاثة. So where are you pointing? The third from the right. خمسة. The second of the right. اثنان. The first of the right. واحد. The last number on the left side. And أربعة, the one before it. Now, التدريب الرابع, the fourth exercise. قل العدد المشار إليه. قل العدد المشار إليه. قل is a command verb. It has normally a sukun. قل. It's a very famous verb. قل هو الله أحد. قل يا أيها الكافرون. قل أعوذ برب الفلق. قل أعوذ برب الناس. قل means say. Okay, it's a command with the sukun, and it means say. And for female, you say قولي with a ya at the end and a waw after the qaf. قولوا, you lot, say. قلنا, you lot, feminine with a short noon. Anyway, قل is say. And we have here the rule of التقاء الساكنين, the meeting of two sukuns. And that's why the lam has a kasra, because after the weak hamza of al-adad, the first actually letter is the lam with the sukun, al-adada. And because we don't pronounce the weak hamza in the middle, the lam has become now the first letter. So the first of the two sukuns, what is the lam of qul, has to compromise and it gets a kasra here. Qulil adada. Qulil adada, say the number, al-mushara ilayhi, that is pointed towards it, literally. Say the number, and al-adada is muf'ulun bihi, it's an object, that's why it gets a fatha. Al-mushara ilayhi, that is al-mushara ilayhi, that is pointed to it. In English you might say that's pointed towards, but I just want to mention that he means it. And he goes back to al-adad. Okay, الضمير في إليه يعود إلى العدد. The pronoun in إليه goes back to العدد, because if al-adad, for example, was a feminine word, al-mushara ilayha, that's how it should become. Okay, if I point to the numbers and you're going to put a blank paper on the rest of the page so you don't look back. If I'm going to point to all these numbers and I start from right all the way to left, tell me those numbers before I say them. I'm going to start. اثنان خمسة ثلاثة أربعة واحد. My brothers in Islam, if you have not understood anything of that what I've mentioned in the beginning of the lesson, so that you have these opposites between 3 and 10, opposites of gender, and that the gender should be 1 when using 1 and 2. If you have not understood it, or maybe just less than 10%, it's not a problem at all, because this topic is not coming in this book, and it's not coming even in the next brown book, the second part of book 1. So just to show you, this is something you will get later on, inshallah. So it's nothing to worry about, inshallah. So please don't worry about that. Only thing I want you to know is واحد اثنان ثلاثة أربعة خمسة. Even if you forgot which gender these numbers are, don't worry about it, okay? Inshallah. الصفحة التالية, to the next page. الصفحة العاشرة, the 10th page. On the top of the page we have something, and honestly, like I've mentioned before, that's what you find, the sentences on top of the exercise, they're all extra information. You don't have to know them now. What you have to know is the exercise itself. Okay, so for example, we find on the top, you can read after me, التراكيب النحوية. التراكيب النحوية. So on both words, we don't pronounce the lam, because we have a shadda after L. You see, on both words, التراكيب النحوية. And in the second word, we don't even pronounce the weak hamza. No weak hamza, because it's in the middle of the word, and no lam, because there is shadda after the lam. So two things are not pronounced in the second word, and one thing is not pronounced in the first word, because you pronounce the weak hamza in the beginning. That's why I said at-tarakibu. The weak hamza is a fatha here. At-tarakibu. And all weak hamzas that are a part of L, what means they all have a fatha. Okay? Al-qalamu, al-mudarrisu. Okay? Al-kitabu. So at-tarakibu nahwiyatu. At-tarakibu, you can see this word here. التراكيب. مفردها, its sino form is تركيب. Okay, تركيب. Or if you put L, التركيب. If you put L, it's التركيب. And here, inshallah, I will stop. And inshallah, until our next class, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.